Let us talk about how medical device startups can boost their clinical trial success with the help of consulting services provided by contract research organizations, or CROs. Clinical trials are the gateway to proving that a new medical device is safe and effective. But for startups, navigating that process can be incredibly overwhelming. From strict regulations to complex trial design and limited resources, it's easy to run into roadblocks. The good news is you don't have to do it alone. With the support of experienced consultants, especially from full-service CROs, startups can dramatically increase their chances of launching a successful clinical trial, on time, on budget, and in full compliance. So in this episode, let's explore how exactly consulting services support startups across each step of the journey.
Welcome to the GCP-Mindset channel, and all topics on clinical research.
One of the first and most important pieces of the clinical trial puzzle is your clinical development plan, or CDP. Think of it as your strategic roadmap. It outlines the objectives of your study, the trial phases, your target patient population, expected milestones, and how you'll allocate resources. Now, startups often dive into trials without this level of planning, and that can be a huge mistake. Consultants bring experience from countless past projects. They can help you define realistic enrollment goals, set timelines that make sense, and ensure that the plan aligns with both scientific goals and regulatory expectations. Even better, they can help you link your trial objectives with your business strategy, so you're not just collecting data, you're moving toward real market entry. Let us now talk about navigating the regulatory maze. Regulatory compliance is one of the most intimidating parts of clinical trials. Whether it's the FDA in the US, the EMA in Europe, or other national authorities, each region has its own approval pathways and evidence requirements. This is where regulatory consultants become absolutely essential. They guide you through selecting the right pathway, whether that's a 510(k), a PMA, or a de novo submission. They also help ensure your trial design meets the necessary standards, they prepare your documentation, and they even help you communicate directly with agencies, so nothing gets lost in translation. The result? Fewer surprises, less back and forth, and a smoother path to approval. Let's move on to designing a scientifically sound study. When you're planning a trial, it's not just about meeting regulatory checkboxes, you also need strong scientific validity. That's where biostatistical consultants come in. They help calculate appropriate sample sizes, choose the right statistical methods, and design adaptive trials that can evolve as new data comes in. They also make sure the results are analyzed in a way that's clear, compliant, and ready for regulators or investors. With the right statistical approach, you can avoid underpowered studies or results that don't hold up to scrutiny. Let's now address the challenge of patient recruitment and retention. One of the biggest hurdles in clinical trials, especially for smaller startups, is finding and keeping the right participants. There's often limited public awareness of trials, mistrust of medical research, and logistical challenges that keep people from enrolling. Consultants help tackle these issues with a data-driven, patient-centric approach. They analyze demographic and health data to identify where your ideal participants are, then develop targeted outreach strategies. They also focus on creating a positive experience for participants, offering tools like digital consent forms, remote visits, and flexible scheduling. When people feel informed, respected, and supported, they're far more likely to stay involved in the trial. This not only improves retention, but also the quality and consistency of your results. Let's talk about quality assurance and staying inspection ready. Quality assurance, or QA, is another area where consulting makes a huge impact. A robust QA process ensures your trial complies with good clinical practice, or GCP, and maintains data integrity throughout. Consultants conduct internal audits, monitor how data is collected, and make sure your documentation is always inspection ready. That way, if a regulatory agency comes knocking, you're fully prepared and not scrambling at the last minute. Strong QA practices also send a clear signal to potential investors and partners that your startup is serious, organized, and low risk. Let's look at risk management and project oversight. Every clinical trial involves risk, whether that's delays, non-compliance, protocol deviations, or even safety issues. Consultants help you get ahead of those risks by conducting thorough risk assessments. They help you identify potential trouble spots early on and develop contingency plans. That might mean lining up backup clinical sites, establishing clear escalation procedures, or flagging protocol areas that need extra attention. Many consultants also support project management, keeping your trial on schedule, monitoring milestones, and ensuring your team stays aligned. It's about staying proactive instead of reactive. Let's explore vendor selection and process optimization. Clinical trials often rely on multiple vendors: labs, logistics firms, data managers, and more. If you pick the wrong vendor, you risk delays, data errors, and compliance issues. Consultants can help evaluate vendors based on their track record, regulatory readiness, and cost effectiveness. They also assist with process optimization, mapping out workflows, identifying bottlenecks, and implementing tech solutions like electronic data capture or remote monitoring systems. This ensures your trial runs as smoothly and efficiently as possible. Let's wrap it all up with why this matters for startups. For startups, every decision counts. With limited resources and tight timelines, there's not a lot of room for trial and error. Clinical research consulting services offer a strategic advantage by helping you avoid costly mistakes, reduce delays, and build credibility with regulators and investors. They accelerate time to market, increase your chances of approval, and help bring your innovation to the patients who need it most. Simply put, consulting isn't a luxury, it's a necessity, especially for early-stage companies entering the complex world of clinical research. So if you're a medical device innovator gearing up for your first trial, or if you're in the middle of one and things aren't going to plan, now's the time to consider consulting support. With the right partner, you can move faster, smarter, and with greater confidence toward your end goal, improving patient care through innovative medical technology. Thanks for listening to today's episode. If you found this helpful, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for more insights on clinical trials, regulatory strategy, and research innovation. If you need support for your trial, you can always book a free one-on-one consultation with us. You find the link in the bio. See you next time.